Wow. This year was amazing. Hello beekeepers! Jake here, the beekeeper, and in today's video I'm doing a full review of 2019. No, that's not what we're doing. Today I'm doing a full review of my beekeeping in 2019. I started in January. It was still cold, freezing temperatures, and I took these flower pots, put a paper lining on the inside of them, and then I coated wax on the inside of that lining, put a lid on them, and then hung them up in a tree. Now, I would call people and tell them about it. Okay, I'm gonna start beekeeping and this and that, and they said, no, that's not gonna work. Your flower pots are trash. Bees are gonna hate them. They're not gonna work. So I was like, wow, so positive. But I decided to do it anyway. As the temperature started to rise, so the days we'd have like 60, and I noticed bees were flying, I would get sugar water and put it by the flower pots that were hanging up in the tree. And I would start feeding the bees that were in my area. Soon I'd notice some bees. Now there was still, to this day, there was no leaves on the trees. It was still cold. I would take some oils, a few different oils. The ingredients to this special lure I'll put in another video coming out soon. Okay, this will all be in a different video on catching swarms. I would take the lure, put it on there, and I noticed the bees were going in the hole and some were pulling out wax. And I was like, oh, I want to catch a swarm, I want to catch a swarm. And so one day, when the Texas Hercules went into bloom, if you guys don't know what that is, I'll put some pictures of it up, but it's that the tree that's got a bunch of thorns on it, and it's nice dark green oily leaves, and it puts off a smell when you hit it or brush up against it. It puts off a strong odor. First year. This is what caused me to catch my first swarm, as I did put in that one video. Well, it's finally dying, or not dying, but going back as the weather cools down. And so when it blooms back next year and puts off pollen, then yeah, it will, we'll see if we can catch some more swarms off of it. Okay, well, as soon as it went into bloom, it puts off white and yellow flowers. We caught our first swarm, and I was so shocked. I'm sitting there in the video. I don't know if I still have that video, but I was like, yeah, you guys remember you said this wasn't gonna work? But it actually worked, and we caught a swarm with it. Yeah, that was 3 months later. So we'd set up the swarm traps in January, and we caught our first swarm in April. That was when we caught the first swarm. And wow, I was shocked. It was so cool. We caught a swarm that week, and like 2 weeks later we caught another swarm, and then another swarm, and we had caught up to 6 swarms within a few month period until the Texas Hercules flowers started to die. And when they did is when we finally stopped catching swarms. Then I thought, wow, this is amazing. I should put this. I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, I should put this on YouTube. I should put this on YouTube. But then I was still actually watching Canadian Beekeepers blog back then. Well, I still watch it now, but I was watching it back then, and I realized I realized he doesn't use supers. He just uses hive bodies. So I was like, that's all I'm gonna get is hive bodies. So I bought 6 hive bodies to put those swarms in, and I combined some of the swarms together, the ones that didn't produce as great. You could tell they were old queens. I'd kill the queen and then mix the swarm. But it would be a hive, so I'd mix the hives together. And that's when I posted that third, I filmed it and then posted the third video, but I'll get to that later. So we had hived that swarm. When the hive bodies came, it was amazing. I went and I put them all together, and I was like, wow, we're ready to do this. And I didn't buy any lids or bottom boards. I built them all on my own. I was so excited to have that first swarm of bees. It was like when a kid gets a new puppy and they're like, and they check on it every few minutes. Well, for me, I was checking on those bees like once and twice a week. I was so pumped that we had finally caught a swarm. After that, three months go by, after I caught that swarm, and it was September. And that's when I decided to do the harvest, and I actually filmed it. I filmed the harvest, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna post this on YouTube. So that's what I did. That was my very first video I posted was on the harvest, and it had grown tremendously. It was a massive hive. It had 2 brood bodies on it, and it had 1 brood body we used for a super. So what I did is I took the frames from the hive body, or from that we used for a super. It was the white box on the top, and that's what all the honey was in. So I'd take it out and put it into another box, and that's how I did the harvest. We had a gallon and a quart of honey, so we had 5 quarts of honey come out of that hive that we had just caught 3 months earlier. Okay, so it was amazing. I was blown away, completely blown away. Now, that's when the problem had started, because I still didn't buy an extractor yet. So as soon as we did the harvest, I filmed it, and then I went inside and I bought an extractor, a honey extractor. I bought it off Amazon. I paid for really fast shipping, so it came in like 2 days later. We took the honey and put it to the left in the top of the other box, and then we put a lid on it. So we got the extractor, I set it up. I did film it, but I still haven't put that video on YouTube. If you guys want it, let me know in the comments. After we put it up, it was already too late. Stupid me, I left the honey in that box and the bees robbed it. And now they didn't take it all, but I went out there, and that's what you see in the second video. The very second video I put out has a robbing part in it. I don't know what time it is, but it's got the robbing part where that honey that I just pulled out of the other box on the right, I put it in here and the bees were robbing it out. And yeah, I was bummed. The bees were taking the honey. So I went in and smoked all the bees off, and we managed to get a gallon and a quart off of it. That was everything that they had left. So we probably would have got a little over 2 gallons if I didn't leave that honey out there. In that video I said that was supposed to be the first video, but if it was the first video it wouldn't have showed that robbing part, so that was a pretty cool coincidence. It actually lined up pretty decent. So now the third video I posted is where I actually extracted that honey. And that was the very first time I had used an extractor to extract honey. So I watched a few YouTube videos about it, and then I decided to do it. After that, we were still catching swarms during that time. That's when I put out that 4th video. It was like a bait video to get subscribers. It didn't work, but it was a great try. And it was on mixing hives, and I said when I get up to 200 subscribers I'm going to show how I mix hives together. So I actually have to post that video soon because I can see I'm getting up to 200 subs. So that's gonna be great. In the 5th video, I told you that the best honey in the world is what you get from your own hives. I washed up the extractor using cold water. You could get all the wax out and all the honey, and it cleaned out really great. It looked brand new. So that was the 5th video. I'll leave all these videos in the description. It was already like October, so we were starting to get our first cold spells at that time. I was like, wow, this year went by fast. September we harvested, and October we were already getting cold spells. So that's when I realized we had another problem. When we harvested, we took the empty box that we just pulled the frames out of. You can see it in the harvest video, the very first video. We pulled those frames out and then replaced them with new frames so that the bees would build back up if they did. But we realized it was already getting too cold, and so we had to get that excess room off. And that's when I posted the video on prepare your hives for the cold. Okay, because the bees aren't strong enough to heat all that space. Okay? If they were, it would be packed with bees. But they're not, because they cluster in a little area. So that's why you take off all those excess boxes so that they don't freeze. They can contain the heat in. Now when I was taking off that excess honey, I realized we had hive beetles. And so I went and I bought hive beetle traps from a man lake and put them in the hives. And that was when I realized that our neighbor had that pet raccoon. And so that pet raccoon is what you see in the next video, where it has the pet raccoon. And I actually still have video of that raccoon. That thing loves honey. I think I'll post that video soon. The pet raccoon is the 11th video. I didn't know people owned some of the strangest animals like that. Well, now it's October 30th, and that's when I realized it was time to feed the bees. In that video, I think it was feed your bees, I told everybody to not use sugar water because it's cold, and I gave 5 reasons not to use sugar water. And then I gave you an alternative, which was pollen patties, and that was the best way to feed your bees in the winter. Or you could use the sugar candy, which I also have another video on too. I went and I bought the pollen substitute, and I made some patties. I even gave away 5 pollen patties. We gave away 5 pollen patties and then fed the rest to our bees in the 14th video. That was the 14th video I had posted on my channel. And that video was great. In fact, it got the attention of Frederick Dunn. He watched my video. He even left a comment on the bottom. And thank you so much for checking out my channel. Thank you. I was blown away. Now, at that time I looked back at my harvest footage and realized that the brood was amazing. The brood in the harvest and then 2 weeks later was great. So on the 16th video I uploaded that, and it turned out great. Now this was around November 28th when I pulled out my hive beetle traps and realized they had actually done really great, better than I thought they would do. Because of that observation, on December 2nd, I uploaded the most popular video on my channel to this day, which got like 507, it's over 570 views, and it's about hive beetles. Okay, like the secrets I didn't know about hive beetles or something like that. That video was secrets I had learned about hive beetles. Like I didn't know that they flew. Okay, I actually watched a hive beetle fly into my hive, just like a bee would. Also, they were all over the world, and the best way to get rid of them was to like keep your bees in a sunny area, keep your hive strong, and the traps, using the hive beetle traps. And this video had a lot of great comments on it. And thank you, all you guys that watched it, thank you so much. At that point, I took out the traps, and I realized it was time to wash them, because they were all full of dead beetles and oil and yeah. And that's when I realized they were disposable. And when I realized they were disposable, I was like, dang. And I didn't mean to buy disposable hive beetle traps, but that's what I bought, so since they work so well, I decided to wash them out. And that's when I posted that video on washing out disposable hive beetle traps. Using cold water, it got all the wax out. It worked really well. Now, I thought I was the only one that bought disposable hive beetle traps until I saw Randy McCarthy at 628 Dart Rooster. He left a comment on my channel, and he said the same thing, that he uses them too. And I was like, wow, he uses them too. And he reuses them too. I was like, I thought I was the only one that did that. That was great. Thank you so much, 628 Dart Rooster, for commenting and checking out my channel. So since then, December 3rd, I opened up a Facebook group. I also posted my cure for allergies. On December 19th, I posted my cure for allergies using garlic, lemon, and honey. It just wipes out your allergies, you know, where you can't breathe and stuff like that. Okay, I'll leave the links to these videos in the description. Here we are today, and the bees are eating the pollen patties we gave them. We're patiently waiting for the new year to bring us new adventures, new pollen flows, new nectar flows, and lots of honey. Links for the videos I mentioned will be in the description. Also, links for the people I shouted out will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. That's that button right there. Turn on the notifications so you can see the 2 videos I post every week on beekeeping. Also, let me know in the comments what other videos you'd like to see covered on beekeeping. And till then, I'll see you in the next video.